High schooler Yuta Togashi was formerly a chunin in middle school, which means he acted out childhood fantasies in the classroom and would often drive others away. Now he wants to move away from his embarrassing past and become a normal high school boy. Unfortunately for Yuta, he is spotted by his fellow classmate Rika Takonashi while acting out his chunin fantasies for the last time, and she starts to follow him around. This eventually grows into a friendship between the two of them, joined by the class representative Shinka Nibutani, who is also another former chunin student, as well as Kyumin Tsuyuri, who joins them in a chunin-based club that is unofficially called the Napping Club. Yuta also meets Rika's friend Sanae Dekamori, who is another chunin who joins the club, as well as Rika's older sister Toka Takonashi. Eventually, the conflict between Yuta moving away from his middle school fantasies and Rika wanting him to accept her lifestyle starts to affect their friendship. This is only made worse when Yuta tries to cure Rika of her fantasies. Eventually, he discovers that she started her fantasies after seeing him 2 years ago to help cope with the death of her dad, and a guilty Yuta tries to take a gentler approach to rehabilitate Rika and accept her chunin personas. With their families away for a while, Rika moves in with Yuta to get ready for their second year of high school. Meanwhile, Makoto now has spiky blonde hair, but Kyumin doesn't care much about that. Shinka dyes her brown hair black for now and keeps clashing with Sanae. Nanase tells Yuta and Rika about 3 letters that didn't reach Rika. Yuta and Rika try to find a new place to stay but can't. When Shinka, Kyumin, and Sanae check out the empty apartment, Toka suddenly appears and figures out what's going on. She defeats all 5 of them in a playful battle and then talks with Yuta and the girls about Yuta and Rika living together. At first, Toka doesn't like the idea, but it gets sorted out when Kizuha comes home for the new school term and watches over them. Shinka, Sanae, and Kyumin figure out that Yuta and Rika are living together and keep an eye on them all day. Meanwhile, Rika struggles with chores, and Yuta notices she spent most of her money on collectibles. They have trouble grocery shopping and split up for a bit. In the club room, Yuta tells Shinka he hasn't held hands with Rika yet. Shinka rushes him to meet her friend Kazari Kanagi, who sets up a date for them on Sunday. They go to the aquarium, where they start holding hands and watch a dolphin show. Rika's unsure about what couples do, but Yuta's okay with things as they are. That night, Rika meets a strange girl who moved into her old apartment, just like Yuta did when they first met. Yuta has a weird dream about Rika that leaves him feeling weird. Later, he loses a bet to her because he got a slightly lower score on a test. He has to dress up as a magical girl for a bit, which is really embarrassing. In the announcement booth, Rika meets the strange girl from before, Satone Shichimiya, and they have a pretend fight. Yuta tells Nanase that Satone is an old friend from middle school who made him act weird back then. On the way home, Yuta figures out Satone lives above him. When Rika gets home, she's surprised Satone's coming over for dinner since her parents are working late. Rika gets jealous when Satone gets too close to Yuta, especially when they touch noses. After Satone leaves, Yuta comforts Rika by making a contract with her. Shinka wants to be the student council president, but Sanae keeps getting in her way, so Shinka asks Yuta to help keep Sanae busy. Sanae still manages to prank Shinka during her speech at school. At a restaurant, Yuta, Rika, Shinka, Kyumin, and Sanae meet Satone, who knew Shinka from middle school when she was called Mori Summer. The next day, Sanae starts believing Shinka really is Mori Summer and acts nicer to her. She even helps Shinka with her campaign ads. When Shinka invites Sanae over, Sanae brings cookies, and Shinka surprises her by wearing her old Mori Summer outfit. On election day, Sanae messes up Shinka's chances by talking about Mori Summer and showing her picture. Shinka loses the election, and Sanae goes back to thinking Shinka's fake, like before. The student council decides which clubs get to keep their rooms after school. Rika messes up explaining what their club, the Far East Magical Napping Society Summer thereof, actually does. So Nanose, the club advisor, checks it out. She realizes napping is a big deal for them and suggests they have a siesta match against Maple Hill High School's Siesta Club. At the train station, they meet Sui Nimiri from Maple Hill, starting a rivalry with Kyumin. Rika says they'll disband if they lose. Kyumin starts a napping boot camp at school, but Yuta suggests they stay up all night at his place to be tired for the match. They oversleep, though. At the match, Kyumin tells them to try their best, even though they're tired. They win, so they can keep doing their club stuff. It's been 2 months since the second year of high school started. Yuta, Rika, Shinka, and Makoto go on a class trip to the island of Tsukashi with other second-year students. Yuta and Rika are shy about their relationship. Yuta asks Shinka to watch over Rika because he thinks she's not good with romance. At night, the girls find out Shinka used to be Mori Summer, and the boys tease Yuta about Rika. Rika sneaks into the boys' room and hides in Yuta's bed. They almost kiss until Shinka helps get Rika back to the girls' room safely. Before going back, Rika kisses Yuta on the cheek. The next day, they go sightseeing together. While Yuta and Rika are out sightseeing, they run into Satone, who got separated from her class trip because she lost her purse. Yuta and Rika help her find it, but they end up being chased by a wild monkey. Rika sees Yuta getting an arcade token from Satone and feels betrayed. She runs off and finds Shinka. Yuta looks for Rika while Saturn contacts Kyuzuo, and then calls Rika to meet at a pier to talk. Saturn tells Rika she used to have feelings for Yuta but gave them up to keep her Chunibyo identity. This makes Rika wonder if she should keep her Chunibyo persona forever and bring back Yuta's. After Saturn leaves, Yuta finds Rika and gives her a new umbrella and charm necklace for her birthday. After finding a new website about Mori Summer, Sanae meets a woman in the park who she thinks is the real Mori Summer, but later turns out to be Natsumi Tokigawa. Yuta, Rika, Shinka, and Kyumin notice some strange behavior and Shinka talks to Natsumi, but can't prove she's the real Mori Summer. Shinka has to give up the name to Natsumi, and Sanae feels lonely because Shinka avoids her. Yuta and Kyumin see that Natsumi likes Sanae in a weird way. Yuta thinks Shinka should challenge Natsumi to a battle, so Rika asks Saturn to help train Shinka at the shrine. The next day, Natsumi tries to get close to Sanae, but Shinka uses her Chunibyo persona to confront Natsumi and gets overwhelmed. But Sanae defends Shinka, saying the real Mori Summer wouldn't act like Natsumi. Natsumi leaves sadly after Sanae tells her that Shinka already stole her first kiss. Yuta finds the same arcade token Saturn gave him on the class trip. The next day, Kyumin asks her friends to work at her aunt's seaside cafe, the Nap Room. Toka shows up with Sento, the daughter of her chef from Italy. Sento surprises Rika with her sword skills. That night, Yuta talks to Toka about his relationship with Rika. Sato notices Rika's losing her imagination powers and tells her to let go of her feelings for Yuta to get her Chunibyo back. The next day, Sanae and Sento see Rika and Saturn start a battle. When Rika remembers her special bond with Yuta, she gets new powers to win. Afterward, Rika decides to stay with Yuta and keep her Chunibyo. On the way home, Saturn wishes she could be with Yuta and keep her Chunibyo too. Saturn can't stop thinking about Yuta, especially after an embarrassing moment at the water park. As Toka and Sento get ready to leave for Italy, Toka tells Shinka, Kyumin, and Sanae something really important. The next day, they talk to Saturn and confirm she's in love with Yuta. During the Bon festival that night, Rika goes missing, so Yuta goes to look for her. When he can't find her and it starts raining, he meets Saturn at the shrine. Saturn feels heartbroken when she learns Yuta and Rika held hands and touched noses. Yuta gets a text from Rika asking for help, which he thinks means she needs an umbrella. Despite trying, Saturn can't stop herself from crying in front of Yuta. The next day at the apartment, Yuta takes care of Rika, who caught a cold the night before. Rika's been hiding where she goes, which worries Yuta. Saturn tells Yuta, Shinka, and Kyumin she's feeling better after her heartbreak. Shinka scolds Yuta for not noticing things, but Kyumin says Shinka just wants what's best for everyone. Shinka, acting as Mori Summer, talks to Saturn and tells her to face her feelings. On the night of a blue moon, Saturn gets ready to confront Yuta, but Kyuzuha says Rika's gone. Yuta remembers a letter he wrote about awakening the Dark Flame Dragon and realizes Rika's been following those instructions. Yuta and Saturn find Rika near some power lines and she shows them a box with Yuta's old cast and the third arcade token, proving their love. Saturn fights the Dark Flame Dragon, conquering her heartbreak and feeling renewed. Back at the apartment, Yuta sees Saturn has changed and she leaves with a smile. Kyuzuha tells Yuta that their cat Chimera is sick. In the second term of the school year, Rika starts ignoring Yuta in class, worrying Shinka, Sanae, and Kazari. In the park, Saturn tells Shinka and Sanae that Rika wants to make a special promise with Yuta, which means they might kiss. They all go to a public bath together. Rika asks them to stop her from running away if she tries to see Yuta. In the locker room, Makoto, now tan, tells Yuta that a boy named Chihiro likes him. Shinka sends Yuta to meet Rika at the bridge, while Saturn encourages Rika. When Yuta arrives, Rika tries to tell him her feelings, but gets too scared. Yuta says they don't have to rush, and he'll always love her. But their first kiss is interrupted when Kyuzuha calls to say Chimera had kittens. And this is all for this video. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.